Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 7 of Unmatched. We were on a little pause. We apologize for not informing you that we were on a pause. Maybe me and Paul should get some access to the account
You
on
got access.
Instagram.
You got all everything. I gave you all the
Dude, I'm
logins.
gonna have the app downloaded on my phone.
Okay, so that's on me. I should probably go look at past text messages to see what the password and username is. But we're back. Baruf was back from his trip. He and I will talk about that, I'm sure, tomorrow ad nauseum. Um,
Mhm.
a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Not on the club level in soccer. It was international break, but Otani news, NBA news, a lot of movement in the NFL free agency. It's a great time for sports. So let's get cracking. The first thing we're going to talk about has got to be Shohei Ohtani. This whole gambling Ipe Mizuhara
Fake
situation, four and a
interpreter
half
type thing. Yeah.
million. Oh my gosh. It was I couldn't believe it. And so far we still have to see how things play out.
Mhm.
I'm really hoping that nothing happens from it. For those who don't know, uh basically $4.5 million was wired to somebody for gambling issues. Uh Shohei Ohtani claims that Ipe Mizuhara had taken the money
Mhm.
from Shohei unknowingly. That wasn't the original story, though. The
No.
original story
Yeah.
was that Shohei Ohtani had given Ipe Mizuhara $4.5 million to help him pay off his gambling debt. But you probably didn't know in California, betting is illegal. So there's a whole bunch of criminal charges I believe criminal charges that could be applicable
Yeah.
if Shohei Ohtani was the one, in fact, that gave Ipe the $4.5 million. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Like I mentioned, Shohei Ohtani has since changed the story and said that he had no knowledge of what was going on. Ipe had taken money, essentially. What's your guys' stance on it?
It better be like this, like that side of the story where it's like the translator was the one gambling and wasn't telling him, and then either he took the money unknowingly, or even if Otani like tried to help him out and get him out of his debt, I feel like there's going to be less penalties and scrutiny over that, whether like over than like him betting $4.5 million in sports, because like he has such a
Yeah.
like a clean reputation. He's there's never been anything negative to say about him since he's bursted on the scene in North America, right? Like he's arguably what the biggest athlete in the world right now if you compare like demographics wise, because Japan's so big and he's huge in North America. He's arguably the biggest athlete in the
He's
world.
top
Possible.
five for sure.
Yeah.
Top
Yeah.
So
five.
it's like if something incriminating comes out with this, it's gonna really tarnish his image.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. It's like a little fishy to say like the original story and like the the translator, I can't remember his name, but him coming out saying,
Ipe Mizuhara.
yeah, he came out and said that Otani gave him the money to get him out of debt, and then was it a week later that his Otani's entourage and the Dodgers came out and said no, he unwillingly like took the money from him. So it's like I don't know if that's just like trying to like kick him to the curb and try to like push this shit behind him. It just looked
Yeah.
a little bit fishy.
Yeah, because then it comes into the whole if he unknowingly took the money, how did he
Yeah,
unknowingly take the
like
money?
how does he have access to those accounts type thing?
Yeah.
It could cause a bigger investigation.
Yeah,
But
well,
my thing is,
both MLB and like the state are investigating it. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
So like
but like,
you can't really hide
what
from it.
my question is, if even if he willingly gave him the money to pay off his debt, where, like, I understand that gambling is illegal in the state of California, but where giving him off to pay his debt is not the same as him gambling, right? Like, where does the charges fall on him in that? That's where I'm a little confused
Hmm.
on.
Well, I
Right?
think
Because if
I
he's
think
paying off the debt of someone who is gambling, he's not willing gambling. He's giving money to this person in turn. Look, there's also the whole point of like contract of this money given to the person, he could be using it to gamble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there is a contract saying like I'm giving this money so he could pay off his debts. The actions of gambling is not done by Shohei, right? So that's where I'm a little confused
I
in
think it's
terms of
because
where he could fall in line.
if he's like helping,
He knows of the activity.
he knows it's going towards gambling, which sports gambling is
Okay.
illegal in California, and that would make it being run by like the mafia and shit, which is not allowed. So for having his name associated with that would probably be the reason why he
Okay.
doesn't want to be associated with it.
Understandable.
My nose really looks like Voldemort right now. It's kind of I don't know why.
But
I just can't. The angle's messing me up. I'm sorry.
but to speak on it
Yeah.
a bit,
Listen.
like it's messed. But it's not just him. I think gambling
Sports
is
gambling should just
everywhere
be
right now in
illegal.
sports. It's been yeah, yeah.
I mean, for
Like it's already
you
illegal
can't bet
for
on
the
your own
players,
sport.
but
I
like
feel like
I'll
that's
say
like
this.
It's just so rampant, like it, and it's alarming because it's like a lot of these guys. Like, look at Sandro Tonali. There's more news coming out
50
about
cases
it,
on
and
him now.
it's so
Look,
unfortunate because he's
if
such a talented player, and you'd love to see him on the field. I mean, Milan dodged the bullet. God bless.
We knew about it before it happened.
No comment.
who
No,
knows?
no
But like,
comment.
look,
Surprised in
if
Italy,
it's an addiction, it's a problem, right? Like, the consequences come from it. But if you could be addicted to anything, right? It could be video games, food, gambling, whatever. And like, hopefully, the league or like either their family, the league or the team helps them out in that situation. They come out better from it. But it's also like I see it in two ways where like it's everywhere now. Like every league possible, it's plastered. You walk into the stadium, it's plastered everywhere. So like for people who can be addicted, like it's really hard to like stay away from it. I'm like, look, I'll get into my second point after this, but it's just like it's everywhere right now, and like part of me is like somewhat against it, but the other part of me is like, look, gambling's been there. It's probably like one of the oldest things known to man, right? And it's been in sports forever. So like, I don't see an issue with embracing it, but it needs to be done safely and properly. So I understand in terms of people who have that problem and like don't understand the gravity of the situation. So like to those people, like I understand the mistakes are going to happen and they do have an issue. That aside, I'm sorry. If you're making millions of dollars, why risk it? Like it makes no sense to me. Like
Yeah, no,
you're in 1 in a million chance. You're making millions of dollars. That parlay is like a percentage of your salary. Why risk your whole career and your passion for like a for gambling?
and
Assuming it's not a problem for them.
it was normally the concern was for the fringe players, right? The guys who aren't making a ton of money.
Like the guy for the Raptors.
Exactly, Jonte Porter.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, Sandro Tonali is not no fringe player. Like
he's a star.
He is good. Fajoli, who I believe was also suspended from the FIGC. He's not a fringe player. Like
he's a young star. Like he's a up and coming
for Juve, right?
Yeah.
So like we haven't really seen it so high profile guys in other sports get busted for it. Like I said, it's been a lot of. I mean, listen, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's to me, he's not like a top 5 receiver, but he has the talent to be a top 5 receiver, right?
Same thing like
and
Tony
he got
for Brentford, right? It's just like he's
Ivan Tony. There you go.
Yeah, he's a good player, and he got suspended for what?
So
6 months?
I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't get it. What's the next topic that we had? I don't have this thing in front of me because I don't want the screen to shut off.
Or we can go to NBA and then move on to Euros.
Oh shit! So let's do NBA and save we'll jump to soccer for that.
Yeah.
Right, so you don't edit this. So NBA. The Celtics still firmly in first place in the Eastern Conference. Some really, really, really alarming losses. And I was saying this at work.
Yesterday's loss than the 30-point loss. Like the 30-point. Yeah.
Without Trae Young?
Trae Young was in there for both games, right? And DeJounte went off last night.
He also
I
took
I just I
43
have
shots, which is
yeah.
crazy.
God damn.
I have a problem with, like I said, we have said it on the past podcast. I have a problem with not drawing up plays for the buzzer beater. Like, we shouldn't have went to overtime. We had 20
Yeah.
seconds before the clock ended, and all we did was give the ball to Tatum, and he waited, and then took a bad shot.
It's very, you got your late game,
Doesn't make sense.
like play running, play scheme, so on and so
There is no
forth.
scheme.
Like it's very Clippers-esque when Doc Rivers was there. Like just hero ball. Let's see who's
Yeah.
gonna make the shot and win it. And like, it's just there's no cohesion. There's no plays being ran. Like it's just a very let
My
me
best
just
player
go
take the
and be
last
the
shot
hero.
and see if he's better than the
Yeah.
defender. That's all it basically is right now.
Listen, I think you guys are still the favorites to make it out of the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the toughest competition is probably the Knicks, to be quite honest with you. I think they're just so well rounded. They have wing bodies that they can throw at teams.
Especially
Like
now with
you
OG.
guys are right with OG, Dante DiVincenzo,
Yeah.
Josh Hart.
Yeah.
Like they have bodies. Julius
Yeah.
Randle when he comes back, Mitchell
Yeah.
Robinson's healthy. You
Yeah.
specialize
Jake
in the
came back.
wing, and they
Yeah.
have bodies to throw at you in the wing. Right now, the key matchup will probably be Drew Holiday and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
If Jalen Brunson can get the better of the Drew Holiday, then I think that'll go a long way.
But
But that remains to be seen.
not only Holiday, then he's got it. Like, if he's cooking Holiday, I feel like they would switch to White and see if White has a better matchup against him too, right? Like,
Yeah,
we got the two
definitely
Yeah,
point
true.
possible.
guards that can be top defenders right now, which is a good
But the
thing to
thing is that
have.
the Knicks now are more equipped. Like if someone's off, someone's gonna get
Yeah.
hot. Like they have enough weapons. For the Celtics, my concern is that it's the way you guys are losing that's alarming. It's not that you're losing because there's a lot of great teams
Yeah.
that lose games.
Yeah.
That's just normal. No one's going 82-0. But the way you guys are losing, the substantial
Yeah,
leads
it's
that you've had, Dean Wade with the Cleveland Cavaliers
Wade
down
over the
19,
Cavs.
22
Yeah.
points,
Yeah.
right? Losing
30
to the Hawks
points.
without a Trae Young
Yeah.
with a 30-point lead, right? Like, and I understand the 30-point lead was in the first half, but still, that like
Yeah.
the facet in which you guys are losing games to me is what's alarming come playoff time.
Uh-huh.
A lot of those points also came from second chance points. The comparison between
Yesterday we didn't
Atlanta
get any rebounds. There's no
I think
offensive boards.
it was 28-3 in terms of
Yeah.
second chance points. So like it was just, they were not getting
They
boards.
dominated us yesterday on offensive
Yeah.
glass. Also,
Yeah.
we stunk from three yesterday. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's also a big problem with the Celtics is they live and die by the three, even though
By the three.
there are
That's been the
Mhm.
case for the last like 3 years, though.
yeah, but
Yeah.
and it doesn't make sense because we have great mid-range shooters.
Mhm.
So it's like a little like if you're not getting your buckets from the three, just get it from the mid. Like you got Tatum that could shoot there. You got KP who's pretty much unstoppable from the mid-range at 7'3", right? So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the Western Conference. We got Paul's Denver Nuggets in first place in the West. I gotta tell you though, if there's ever a year where I wouldn't want to be first or second in the NBA, it's this year. Because the play-in teams that whoever it's gonna be, right now it's between the Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Teams that they could possibly face in the first round is Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. You got a Golden State Warriors in the equation. The Houston Rockets are in the
Yeah.
equation. Sacramento's in the equation. Like there could be scary matchups, and we just saw the Phoenix Suns beat Denver the other night. Kevin Durant
We've
went
lost both
ballistic.
games against Phoenix this year.
Yeah, they went ballistic. OKC just actually beat Phoenix 128-103. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Do you have a preferable matchup in the first round for your Denver Nuggets? Or is there someone that you like? Let's do both. Do you have someone that you want to see and then someone that you really don't want to see?
Don't want to see the Suns.
Okay.
I think historically we're not winning it this year if we're playing them. Like, so I'll go in a tier. I'll be like, let's say we got 4 teams in there, and there's let's say 5, 6 in the runner-up position right now. From top to bottom, like not top being who I don't want to play, it would probably be Phoenix, then Clippers. Then
Clippers aren't in the
Clippers.
playing spot though.
Oh no, fair. So it'll be Suns. I don't mind the Lakers. Like I don't mind getting the Lakers. I don't mind getting San Antonio. Houston is
Sacramento, you mean?
iffy. Yeah, sorry, Sacramento. I don't mind like the Houston Rockets are iffy. It depend like they're coming off what 10, 11 game win streak, 10? 10 or
Jalen
11.
Green's been
Yeah,
fantastic.
Been cooking it.
even Thompson's been playing very well.
Yeah.
So they would probably be second on that list. I don't want to play, especially if they're coming in hot because they're basically playing playoff basketball for the past 5-6 weeks. You know what I mean? To get that spot. So those are the top two teams I would be iffy against in terms of actually. I don't mind playing in Sacramento, Lakers, Golden State. I don't mind playing them at all.
Interesting.
I wouldn't want to play Lakers round one if I were you. Just because
I'd rather play Houston than the Lakers if I were you. Just because of the experience factor.
And like round one, they're probably going to be the most fit and have the most energy. They're going to have the less
like Houston, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks. They have playoff experience, but like Alper Şengün, Asar Thompson,
that's true.
or Amen Thompson. I can't. It's escaping me right now, but you get my point. Cam Whitmore, like these guys, like they don't really have playoff experience, which I think can work against them against that type of team, right? If they were playing like a Pelicans in the first round, or even though the Pelicans have some playoff experience, but it's not
it's a mixed group.
Exactly. Have you guys watched any March Madness?
No.
Nah.
I haven't been watching this year at all.
Dude, the women's side is crazy.
The first round, wild. I think there was like 14 upsets. It's like the most since like 2000 or something like that.
I feel like wasn't there like no more perfect brackets after round one this year. Like that's crazy.
Any more in NBA?
After round one, I also saw a dude literally got nothing right. I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. That's equally as
you can close your eyes and get one right. Like
that's nuts.
Dude, just take any top seed. You probably have a 75% chance getting it right.
That's craziness. What was I gonna say?
So Draymond.
Oh.
Then it's soccer.
Yeah, let's do Draymond.
Let's talk about Draymond.
Draymond Green got ejected from the Golden State game against the Orlando Magic, I believe, in the first
8 minutes,
5 to 10 minutes. Four. Very early on in the game, a couple minutes in, and the Golden State still ended up winning the game against a very tough and young Orlando team. Steph Curry went off, had some clutch shots.
He looked shooken up after he got ejected too. Like everyone,
he did.
And he's tired, man. He's frustrated.
He said it post game, like, Draymond's an important factor. I'm paraphrasing. Draymond's an important factor. Whichever way he can stay on the court, like however he needs to stay on the court needs to happen, right? Because now it's getting to a point where it's like, listen, Clay's not getting any younger. Steph's not getting any younger. The support players, I don't think they ever should have got rid of James Wiseman, Jordan Poole. Like I thought those guys could have helped out in these types of situations. Yeah, but it's still it's an offensive spark, right? I know
Jordan Poole off the bench, offensive spark. Fantastic.
Those are role players that can help you in these instances, right? Even though, but I understand that the whole Draymond Poole thing, like it wasn't gonna work. Right?
Yeah.
But I hear stuff. Draymond is so pivotal to that team. Like he's a Swiss Army knife. He's like he's the Luka Modric of the of the Golden State Warriors.
So many lanes for Curry, right? The pick and roll they run.
He's the heartbeat. He's the pulse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about in terms of like winning a battle.
I know. But I was like, you could choose
I get what he meant,
but I understand what you're saying.
In the sense of just creating, being the heartbeat, right? Like making that one play that can just really change the tide of the game.
Yeah.
And Draymond knows that. He's not an idiot. He's a very intelligent dude.
Yeah.
And you can understand Steph's frustration. But I think it also goes to Steve Kerr and Steph Curry being able to rein him in, right? Because Steph Curry is the leader of the team. Like he's the face of the organization.
Yeah, he is.
Who knows who's really the true leader inside the locker room? We're not in there. We don't know. But it's Steve Kerr, right? You're a head coach. You got to rein him in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, I'm sure people will make the comparison to Dennis Rodman. Oh, okay, but Dennis Rodman did this, that. But like Dennis Rodman, for the most part, was available game in, game out, and
Yeah,
you
he
give his
was.
job. You know what I mean? Like he was there when you needed him to be. And
Besides
not that
maybe his
Draymond
2 week
hasn't been,
sabbatical,
but
but
like I don't recall Dennis Rodman getting suspended in a pivotal playoff game. Draymond has been, right?
yeah,
So I
Yep.
think Draymond just
Multiple
needs to be
times.
a little bit more careful. And as he's gotten older and as the team's gotten older, I think he needs to be a little bit more cognizant of how big of an impact it is for him not to be
yeah.
on the court.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with all of that 100%, but like, how like it doesn't come to term. It's not. It doesn't come down to being careful. Like, it's idiotic at some point. Like, how do you get kicked out 4 minutes in? Like, you go from saying I'm not worried about the Houston Rockets to getting kicked out 4 minutes the next game. Like, it just sounds like he's doing it to himself, and I don't understand why.
And it's also not like he's been behaved this season. He was suspended for like a quarter of the year this
Yeah,
year. So it's like you would have figured like he'd be more tamed now after being suspended. But like I don't think it affects him. I think it's just like I mean he's definitely a guy that plays with like his heart on his sleeve and like
yeah.
he gets his emotions get the better of him. But like at some points you gotta
Yeah.
like be able
But when you're in the
at
league for X
34
amount of
or whatever
years, like you kind
35
of
like you gotta like mature a little, no?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
why,
hear that.
like if it was early in his career or whatever, but like the fact that you're coming, I mean, you got multiple titles. You're an NBA veteran. It's
He's a
like
Hall of
I'm not
Famer.
saying he's
Like
never been eccentric and playing hard on his sleeve and has done maybe some of this antics before,
mhm.
but it just feels like it's been proportionally blown up this year for no apparent reason.
I agree. I agree. Okay, maybe not this episode, but going forward, do you guys want to like we each come up with a question that like the people can answer type of shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for example, like I messaged you guys earlier this week, like sorry, not Chavi,
Yeah.
Chavi Alonso or Busquets. You know what I mean? Like something like
Yeah.
that. It doesn't have to be a player for player, but it can
We
be
could
like,
do it, and we could do it in the sense of like instead of having to do a top five, we could do it with that. So we could
Yeah.
answer. You know what I mean? Every instead
yeah,
of doing every
and
episode the
We
get
can give
question,
our
one
opinion and
some
then
top
let
five,
people.
some questions.
Yeah.
Like it could be, so it's not always
yeah,
the
and
same format.
get some engagement from the people,
Yeah,
whatever. We
yeah,
could try that,
yeah.
So there were international break, some Euro
Playoffs.
qualifiers.
I don't want to talk about it.
Georgia beat Pavlopoulos's Greece in
Horrible,
penalties.
horrible.
Uh, Before we go, I just
Terrible
want to say
penalties.
Norway has absolutely no excuse. If Georgia can make the Euros
Yeah,
for their first time in their history, Holland and Odegaard can make it.
Oscar
Superstars.
Bob.
You have to. Holland's world class. For me, Odegaard is still. I need to see
He's a
some more from
superstar
me.
though. I'd still say
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
a
a
superstar.
star.
Odegaard,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a
He's the
star.
most crucial.
Superstar is a little aggressive for me.
He's the most crucial player on that Arsenal team. I find like he helps everything move. Like I don't
the
know.
entire.
Yeah.
He's a top midfielder. Like
I just don't want to say he's world classic because I feel like we throw world
Oh no,
class
I
out a little
wouldn't say
bit
world
too.
class, but I
no,
still
I
say he's
won't say
like a
world class, but he's a notch right under, so he's a superstar.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You see, now I lost my train of thought. So yeah, no, my
Or
point is
yeah,
that you have two guys that are uber talented,
Mm-hmm.
and there's teams with far less that make it. Look at Poland. Poland makes tournaments year
Just
in
off
and
what?
year
Yeah.
out.
It's just off
Just
Lewandowski
well,
obviously you have
and
Chesney
Chesney.
in
I
net.
mean Chesney back there. He made a great save last
yeah,
game too to help them secure
Yeah, but
the
you know
yeah,
what I
nations. But like
mean. Like when you go back to the Gareth Bale Wales teams, like
that
they
was
weren't.
yeah.
They weren't. I'm not. Listen, I'm not gonna act like they were bad. They were not bad. There was still some
No,
quality
but
guys
yeah,
on there. But like
Iceland
there
made the
wasn't.
Euro.
He didn't have a running mate like a Haaland and an Odegaard have one another. So just shout out to Norway. Hopefully they can qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Um, and we can see because I think it would be such a stain on both of their legacies if they can't even get into a major international tournament,
Yeah.
right?
Quality like that you want to see on an international stage.
Exactly. But what was your guys' biggest takeaways from the international break?
Fucking sadness, depression. Dude, we fucking went to penalties against a 10-man Georgia team, and the penalties were horrible.
Horrible. I saw the two misses where the both guys just missed by the corner. Like they just p-rolled the ball and it's still like there was no power on the shot. They lightly tapped it and it just rolled by the net. I was like,
yeah, I don't know, no call. Like, dude, this shouldn't even went to penalties.
well, and you guys hit the crossbar off a corner in the second half. I'm pretty sure. So it's like they had the chances to end the game and they couldn't take their
You
chances.
basically had a second half playing as 10 men. I don't know, 70% possession, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a disappointment. And 20 years, almost not to the date, but it's the 20th year of you guys winning the 2004 Euro, right? Like it would have been, and that was the year of the underdog across all sports, to be quite honest.
Didn't
Almost
they
all
win on
sports.
pens too? They beat Portugal on pens?
No.
No, it was just 1-0?
1-0. 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, against a very, very good Portugal team.
Very strong
like
Portugal.
Deco, Rui Costa, Ricardo Carvalho, Luis Figo, young Ronaldo. That was an insane team.
Yeah.
Then I believe they beat France. No, did they beat France? No, they beat England.
What are you saying?
Portugal.
Oh, Portugal.
They beat England. They beat England. I do recall them beating England.
They beat France 1-0.
Ooh,
for a Euro title.
Oh no, he's not talking about
Portugal.
That. No, he's talking about in the Greece Euro.
Oh, okay.
He's not talking about when Portugal won.
You're talking about Euro finals. Sorry.
No. I'm talking about along Portugal's journey to. I believe they beat England. I think that's. I want to say that's when Wayne Rooney got sent off.
Yes. Oh, it might be. Yeah.
When Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Yeah.
And Ronaldo winked at him. It was either that or 06 because Portugal did also beat England in 06 too, if I recall correctly.
I don't remember now. Anyways.
Yeah, I think. Listen, Portugal looked good. I believe they dominated Sweden. I want to say it was. Rafael Leao scored. Like Portugal, listen, they're being very overlooked. In the upcoming Euro, everyone's talking about France and England. Yeah, everyone's talking about France and England. I get it, but Portugal,
talented-wise,
rightfully so. But Portugal, like, come on, like. Yeah. They have such a good blend of veterans and young guys on that team.
The midfield's a little like besides like I don't know.
The defense.
Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes.
You know Paulinho, you can play the defensive midfield now.
They don't play well together. Like they.
That's always been the thing with Portugal. They've always been fantastic teams. Yeah, I just don't feel they play well as a team.
Yeah, like I don't know. Bruno Fernandes just doesn't seem like he gels with everyone else. I don't know.
Well, now they're starting a guy on the left side who can change that.
Ronaldo's playing the wing?
The other
Rafael Leao.
The other two Euro qualifiers, I don't remember. What were the outcomes?
I believe Iceland.
Poland won on pens. And
then they didn't even have a shot on target.
Yeah, and then Iceland lost to 2-1 to Ukraine. Mudryk scored the winner.
Mudryk scored the winner, yeah. Listen,
Gunnarsson or whatever, the guy from Genoa scored an amazing goal for Iceland.
Yeah, he did. Listen, who out of these teams that qualified on the final day, essentially,
none,
do you guys think will make the most noise?
None.
At the Euro? None?
We say that every year with Poland and
Ukraine's
always
always a tough out. Ukraine's always a tough out.
Yeah.
Ukraine's probably like I
this could be
realistically don't think any of them are going to do major damage, but I think Ukraine is always a tough matchup for anyone, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think any of them are like strong enough in any like specific sense of the game. I mean, Georgia has the one great, and then everyone else is a little bit
Yeah,
more like
I
they
know.
have a decent goalie who plays in La Liga. They got like a couple guys that play in Europe that are starting to play first team soccer, but like besides that, there's not really much there. Poland is still very heavily reliant on Lewandowski. You got
Yeah, they're
Zelensky,
not
you
what they
got
used to be.
Zalewski, you got Chesney, who's still a top goalie in the world. So I'd say out of those three teams, maybe them, but maybe Poland just for they got the veterans, they got the experience.
Experience.
They play in every tournament still. Like even though it became to the last day this year, they're always in every tournament. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the past a little bit, they've been a shadow of what they used to be, right? There's no
I mean,
Not Podolski, who's on
Lewandowski
there, but
never shows up
there's
in those tournaments anymore.
Blaszczykowski, there's
So
no Glick, like
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, there's two more friendlies that we need to talk about. First, Brazil versus England.
oh yeah.
Endrick
Enrique,
scores the winner. Um, it's just storybook, man. Like this Endrick's gonna be special, man.
bro, they're
He's
playing him
gonna be
off like he's the
special.
next Pele, and it's like the memes that have been coming out
But
today.
the
Like,
the the
Yeah.
pictures, the
yeah,
aura,
yeah,
it gives that vibe, right?
yeah, it does. But
Like
it's crazy.
everything you see him in, he looks majestic.
Yeah, the way he
Hey,
dresses and everything. It's
it's
like,
excitement for Brazil because I
yeah,
feel like they need something like that again. They've
they, they, they haven't had that since young Neymar, right? Where the hype was coming
yeah,
out
Yeah.
when he was playing
But
for Santos.
listen, this upcoming Brazilian era, like it looks pretty solid, right? You got Vinny, you got Rodrigo, you have a Endrick, you have a Savio who's
yeah.
gonna be a star. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah,
guy has what it takes, definitely. So listen, obviously they're I always have questions about their midfield and their center
and their defense.
backs,
Yeah,
but like
Marquinhos can always hold it down.
their fullbacks and their forwards are always deadly, always deadly. And as
Goalkeepers
long
are
as they can
amazing
be
as well.
serviceable,
I mean they're
exactly.
both going to
As
be in their
long as they
thirties
can,
now. So, but like they have young goalies coming up too. Like the guy that they had
exactly.
to replace Allison and Ederson for this. Like he looks like he's a young, promising guy. So they
Yeah,
always have
Yeah.
people in those positions. They always have guys
As
in
long
like
as
the
they,
creative positions, right? The wings and the fullbacks seem
yeah.
to always just replace them.
it's the midfield.
Yeah,
But if they can get serviceable play from the midfield and their center backs, like I think Bremer is a very good center back,
he
right?
doesn't make
Like
the team.
you don't think he would make the team?
He hasn't made the team. He didn't make the team for this call up either. He doesn't play the system they'd play. They call up
Was he
Danilo.
not? Was he not?
I'm pretty sure he wasn't called up this. Like I mean, unless he was like an injury replacement, he wasn't part of the original call ups. They call up Danilo
Well,
more than they
anyways,
call Bremer, and Bremer's
I mean,
a
also,
decent
but
yeah,
this
center
year,
back.
man,
they have Bruno Guimaraes, so in the
Mm-hmm.
midfield that helps.
yeah. But Bremer should be called up because I think he's a pretty good
Oh, for
center
sure.
back. You look at that game
Yeah,
against Napoli a couple of weeks back, like he had Victor Osimhen on lock
He's
and key.
arguably the best center
You know
back in
what I
Serie A
mean?
right now, right? So it's like,
Yeah. So listen, whether that form will last
yeah,
for the Copa America or for the 2026 World Cup remains to be seen, of course.
yeah.
The other friendly, we gotta go to Spain and Brazil. Enrique versus Lamine Yamal, probably the two
young
U20
superstars.
guys
Yeah,
that
Biggest names under U20. Yeah,
exactly right. Like they're gonna like be the next. Not in terms of production and legacy, but in terms of being the two dudes, right? Like a
yeah,
Haaland and Mbappe, like a Messi, Ronaldo. Like those will be the
mm-hmm.
two next of this younger
Yeah,
era. There's obviously some other talent that are U20, of course, but Enrique and Lamine just seem to stand out. And Lamine played fantastic, fantastic.
yeah.
Like 16 years old, like I really do hope that it doesn't take a toll on his body
yeah.
playing all these games, right? Because we see what Barcelona be doing to their Pedri, like
Pedri hasn't
like
been.
Yeah.
the man can't stay on the field no more.
He played. Was it? I would remember the Euro the couple years back when he played
Oh
like
yes,
14 months
I
straight
remember this.
soccer, and then he just broke down
Yeah,
because he played a ridiculous amount of games in a short period of time. Like no one's, and he was
yeah,
what 18 or 19 at the time. Like It's
Yeah,
just
imagine when
they
you're
were.
There's like the beginning of the season picture and then the
Yeah.
end of the
Oh, he
season
was.
picture, and he has like bags under his eyes. Like he looks like he lost his youthfulness. You
Yeah.
know, it's insane. But I think that's a problem that Barcelona has really and truly.
Mm.
They rely entirely too much
Off the
on
Messiah.
their young
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I get that they're talented, of course. Like you want to see these guys play, but you have to do it properly. Look at a Real Madrid. They have young guys. They have young guys that can't even get onto the field, right? Like Guler, who's a wonder kid, can barely get onto the field, right? Like they're already talking about sending him on loan to Milan,
But that's a
right? So
lot of
Yeah,
like,
thing with
but yeah,
Madrid
completely
is like
different
their
philosophy.
yeah, but it's Madrid's young guys are all bought, whereas like all of Barca's guys are from them. They create all
yeah,
these
but
young guys.
you have a Joao Felix, you have a Fernan Torres, you have a Frankie De Jong. Like you have
Yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah.
that can be put in positions so you don't have to play these young dudes, right?
Yeah.
Jules Koundé, Ronald Araujo,
Yeah.
you have veterans, guys
Hmm.
that who are more physically able to handle the rigors of a full season and not freaking make a Lamine Yamal an integral part of your team, right?
Hmm.
I love Lamine. I think he's gonna be a great player, but I just think it's too soon
Yeah,
to
it's too
heap
much to
all of this
play
pressure and
weekly games
expectation.
like that. Yeah,
It's a
it's gonna have a
lot,
toll on him for
but
sure. But he's talented and
exactly,
like
but
he's their game
uh,
break. Like it's tough to keep him in the
Oh
lineup
yeah.
when anytime you watch them when you watch Barca play, the only guy that stands out right now is Yamin Lamal. Like that's the only
Yeah.
guy. Like
When I watched him play against Napoli,
oh
oh
yeah,
man.
he was the only guy that did anything. So it's
Yeah.
yeah,
like you like
I think
it's a hard to balance that out right now for them, especially with all the
yeah,
debt they have.
but
They're forced
That's
to
the
play all these
thing.
young
I think
guys.
it's
yeah,
not the like their philosophy of in terms of like playing young players, but it's also the fact that every year they have to sell players. So that's
Yeah.
these younger players are coming from the academy, right? So they have a lesser load on their contracts and all that.
Well,
And
it's just like
because they
that
don't have,
18-year-old center back that
they
played in the
also don't have
Champions
as
League.
much depth because they can't afford depth.
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you can't
No,
afford
you
that. And then they bought Gundogan, they bought Rafinha,
Yeah,
they
and
bought
then
all
they go
these
and they spend 8 million.
useless.
Like,
They bought
actually, hold on.
Christensen. Like they spend so
Yeah,
much money on guys
they
just
have
to
guys.
gain
They
more
had a
debt.
Marcos Alonso. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like they have bodies to alleviate some of the pressure
yeah,
off of these young dudes.
yeah. The issue is the
Um,
bodies to alleviate the pressure are not nearly close to talent. So it's like
no,
for them
I mean
to
look at
for them to
Messi.
com- for them to compete, they need to play these young players. But then they
Yes,
are also
but
destroying them by their 20. Like, look, I
yeah,
also think in terms of like how the rotating is horrible, but the bodies they bought are not to the standards of Barcelona soccer and are also not to the standard of being a top three club in La Liga,
but
right?
they won La Liga last year,
Yeah,
right?
they did.
Like
with all the young guys, just
like a lot, and Lamine was not playing as
That's
much
true.
as he's playing now, right? So I think it's like, look, Messi took time. Like of course, he dazzled at 17, 18, but for the
it took
most, he
till
didn't
19 years
start
old.
playing.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
19
He
year
didn't
old when
start
he started
playing
playing regularly.
exactly. Like he wasn't playing game in and game out like immediately. Like, and that was a whole. That was, I mean, that was an issue in and of itself because people felt like he should have been. But maybe it was better for him to not break down his body, right? I know
Yeah,
that's why people didn't like Frank Rijkaard. Frank Rijkaard didn't even make him start in the World Cup in the Champions League final against
yeah.
Arsenal, right? Like oh
Yeah.
six World Cup, they lose out to Germany. I believe they lost to Germany in '06.
Yeah.
Riquelme gets subbed out, and they just go full defense mode. They don't even bring out Messi. Germany ties up the game as soon as Riquelme leaves, essentially, and then they're struggling with two defensive midfielders
Did he
trying
make the
to.
team in '06?
He did
He
make the
did.
team. He made the team, but he didn't play. Riquelme was
Okay.
starting.
Yeah.
They went
At
up
the
1
time,
0
Riquelme
against
was.
Germany, and then Riquelme got subbed out in the 71st, I want to say, and then Germany tied it in the 78th or 79th minute, something along those lines.
Oh, okay.
But like Barcelona, like in the past, like they're even Iniesta, like they had guys in the midfield back in the mid 2000s where Iniesta was not playing game in and game
What about
out,
Pep
right?
was?
Like,
Pep was when he
yeah,
first came out there, and
Yeah,
then Pep
that's
told
true.
Xavi, "This guy's gonna sit us both on the bench." Like,
yeah, it's true. So listen, I think Barca they need to
It's an
take the pressure
organization
off of
thing.
their. Yeah, they need to take
They're
off the
going
pressure off their
they're
young
going
guys.
in the right direction after they fired the last
Yeah, they
president
are.
and they were in like hundreds of millions in debt. Like it's going to be a slow process because
To
he had that much
no
in
thanks
debt.
to your guy.
That's my guy. Not his fault. He left. It
I
was the
mean,
other
the
guy.
man. Did you see his salary?
That wasn't the problem. It was the rest of the guys that they were bringing in that
Who are
were
we talking?
useless.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about
Messi,
Messi, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
the president that kind of just
bro. Salary was the whole team,
Bartomeu
bro.
just kept putting money in his pocket and just fucking over the club.
His salary probably costed more than the whole value of the team.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they're getting a new
Like
coach
that's
in there for next
crazy.
season, so
Take a pay cut, dude.
I still don't think
you don't
that's
think
the
he's
right.
leaving?
I know he is. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think he should
Who?
leave.
Yeah, I think
Xavi.
he's just fed up. I think he's fed up dealing with
Yeah,
them.
It's the pressure. I think the pressure is getting to him.
No, it's not even that. It's just dealing with the bullshit.
That's well, right. That comes with pressure
it
of
comes.
constantly
He played
being
there for 20
Barcelona
years.
and
I don't
having
get
to
no pressure
perform.
that he got from playing that it's different than coaching. The guy was
Yeah.
there. Like it's not like
He
he's
would
it was
say it
strange
is
for him.
different.
And he won the
I'm
league.
pretty sure he
so.
said it's different. Yeah,
Yeah,
but when
I
you're
think
playing,
I think that's what he's saying to the press. I'm
but you
not
see
saying
when
like that isn't a variable, but I think there's a lot more going on in the
when you're
background.
playing though, you can have a direct impact on the game. He can only do so much
Yeah, fair.
on the sideline, right? He can, of course, employ the best players or deploy, I should say, the best players onto the field that can do something. But like if they're not doing it, like it's like a great. It's the whole notion of a great player coaching, right? Like they don't see the game the same way that he does. And listen, he still has success. He still won a La Liga title. Like everyone wants to praise Mikel Arteta. The man Arteta hasn't won jack except for FA Cup, if I recall correctly. Xavi's won a La Liga title. You know what I mean?
Madrid. Like he beat like a Madrid team that went to the semifinals of a Champions League. Like he had to go up against that.
They were the defending La Liga champions. They were defending Champions League winners.
Yeah. Europe champions.
So, anyways, the Brazil-Spain game, great game. Paqueta tied it up. I think it was 90+7 of injury time.
Milan legend.
And pardon?
Milan legend.
Milan legend. Yeah, Milan legend. Enrique scored the goal to tie it at 2-2. Man, I'm telling you, he's special, man. He's special. And once again, if he was a Barcelona kid, he'd been playing right now.
Oh yeah,
he'd been playing right now. But luckily,
it's different because he's also another guy who's been bought and then like kept in Brazil. Like a lot of the guys
develop.
That's true.
Yeah,
yeah.
For Barca, it's like, well, you're not going to keep them in the youth system because they're not going to develop there. So it's like unless they loan them out to somewhere else,
loan them out.
Play. Yeah, but then at the same time, like if he's good enough to start for you now, why are you going to loan him out to start for somewhere else, right? So it's like it's the juggling.
Yeah, it's a tough decision.
Yeah, you don't want to loan out someone who's better than your starter, even though he's 16. So it's like, I gotta play him.
Yeah,
I thought that was the best friendly of the international break. 3-3 game. Rodri scoring 2 penalties. A lot of action. A lot of. I didn't think the first one was a pen. Lamine drew it in the box. I didn't think it was a pen. But like I said, great game nonetheless. It's great to see all that talent, and it's a preview to a potential 2026 World Cup matchup. So, final topic. With the Euro coming this year in Germany, 2024 Euro, Italy are the defending champions. What's your favorite Euro moment?
I mean, I'll already know mine.
So many.
Greece 04, we know. For me, I'll give you 2. 2021, Bukayo Saka missing that penalty against Italy.
Donnarumma pull on him.
That was
wild.
Much needed. Much needed.
Yeah,
but I mean, I believe we were all watching that game.
I was watching.
You weren't there. You weren't there. Sorry, but I believe Paul was there. And like we were all watching outside. It was everyone, all the Italians. We was all out there watching it, enjoying it on the projector. And when Luke Shaw scored that goal, like we all just kind of looked at each other like, "What's going on right now?"
And 4 minutes in or whatever, it was just like quick silence. Like it was like, what the fuck
Also,
happened?
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama just had a 40-20. 40-20. First rookie to do that since Shaq. Incredible. Yeah, so Bukayo Saka missing that penalty, Donnarumma making a great save, Italy winning their second Euro, great moment. My other favorite moment has got to be Balotelli,
Against Germany.
2012 Euro
Yeah.
semi-final. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
against Germany?
That second goal
It's
against
up.
Germany where
What?
Montenegro gives him that ball and he just
And
like
that
rips it
team
top of the goal.
overachieved.
Yeah.
That team
Yeah,
overachieved.
You had a striker who was like 5 minutes away from having a heart attack next to Balotelli starting up front. Cassano was a shell of himself at that point.
True.
Yeah.
Like he was having heart surgery, he was having heart problems, and like he was still starting for us up top. Like
Yeah. No, listen, no disrespect. Like, you know, it's quality, but Chiellini and Bonucci were younger. I think the Chiellini and Bonucci that played against England would have fared better in that final against Spain
they were
because of the
just more
experience,
experience. But then
right? Like
there was
they
no
were
Barzagli, whereas they back then they had a Barzagli who was the mature guy in that back three.
Yeah.
but not of the same quality, in my opinion, of a Bonucci and of a Chiellini.
No.
Oh, fantastic, but no.
Yeah. So those would be my two moments.
I think
And Ronaldo and Portugal had their scoring the goal against France would be my third. Yeah.
all right, yeah, sure. I think I got a one that I was surprised you didn't say. It was the Pirlo Panenka on Joe Hart in the shootouts against England in the
Yeah.
2012 Euro.
That's a good one.
That's just like iconic. And
that
his
one
comments
was
after the game just made it even better. It's like he was too confident. I had to bring him down a peg. Was just perfect by Pirlo to say that about him. Whereas like it was just like he's like he looked too confident. I had to do it to him. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. That was a great moment. But for me, it was just like the stakes weren't higher than those
it was
other
a
two.
knockout game. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
a knockout game, but one's a semifinal, one's a final, right? Like against a very good Germany team. That was 2 years away from winning the World Cup. With Philip Lahm, one of the most underappreciated fullbacks of all time. Like
midfielders, was kind of like a dual threat.
Yeah, exactly. And we've spoken about this before, Zanetti or Philip Lahm. And people don't be hesitant to answer that question on YouTube, on Insta. I'm sure we'll have this little clipped up into a smaller segment so you don't have to listen to the full thing. We'll have the little 30-second short for you. But Philip Lahm or Javier Zanetti?